What's up guys, Josh here and you're watching Chimp Skills. And today, man, let's face it, the world's been pretty weird over the last week and a half. With all the mass shootings that have been going on in the States, like there's been a number now, but the main one being Orlando where there was, a heap of fatalities. You could quite easily lose faith in humanity. And these days with, 24-hour news channels and with everything on the web as well, you get exposed to the same event over and over again, which can really reinforce the idea that, all faith is lost when it comes to humanity. And there have been some terrible things that have happened by some, extremely evil people. But I guess my point for today is that, yes, there are a number of bad things that are happening out there, but I don't think the good things that people are doing out in the world are getting the same airtime as some of the bad things. As with mainstream media, when you report on something that is, quite horrific, it evokes fear in people and it gets that response. People pay attention to it and you sort of follow the story step by step. Where when good things happen, they don't tend to get the same amount of airtime unless it is something that's, really prolific. So I guess for today, the take-home message is that, there are a lot of amazing things that are happening out in the world. And I want to share an example that I had with an experience that I actually had in Orlando, and that was November last year. So my wife and I were on our honeymoon. She wanted to go to Disney World in Orlando, which we did. All the big amusement parks there and stuff, and it's actually a pretty cool place to visit. I think it gets something like 75 million visitors per year that go in there. The place that I really wanted to go was the NASA Space Center there, or the Kennedy Space Center, which is about a 45-minute drive out of Orlando at Cape Canaveral. Now, when I was in that place, that really restored my faith in humanity and what humans were able to achieve when they put their minds to something, when they focus on something great, when people have an imagination and they think outside the box. On the drive there, I was thinking, well, why do they even bother sending people into space? I think what's cool, I like to learn about the planets, and it's great, to have an understanding of what's going on outside, our solar system and in other galaxies. But really, how do you justify the cost? Because it's really expensive. And it was on that trip when we were doing all the tours and stuff like that, that you learnt about all the different patents that had been developed by NASA. The main reason is that, you've got a lot of bright minds and they're trying to pack a whole bunch of technology into a confined space, being a shuttle or, a pod if they're putting it into orbit or sending it to another planet. And all the different patents that they're able to develop, you've got things like all your telecommunications, the internet, I think microwaves, a number of different inventions that have been produced because you've got a whole bunch of smart people focusing on a goal, and just trying different things, stretching their own imagination, definitely thinking outside of the box. And the result is, a lot of amazing inventions, and also, I guess for the rest of us, expanding our own imagination and horizons of what is possible. And when I walked out of that place, I felt pretty freaking darn good about what things humanity have been able to produce. And I think it's important, even when there is terrible things happening in the world, that to focus on the good that people are able to do. And it might not necessarily be on an international scale. It might be a neighbor, it might be a colleague, it might be just someone you see on the street. But just keep in mind, there are a lot of good people out there doing good things. They're just not getting some of the same airtime that those bad things are getting. So yeah, guys, I just ask you to keep that in mind, and don't lose faith in humanity like the media would tell us that we should. If you have kids, if you haven't been to Orlando, you haven't been to this NASA Space Center there, I highly recommend it. All the astronauts there that were doing talks and stuff spoke about going there as a kid, and that really sparked their passion for space and really got them to, I guess, get their imagination sort of going, and some of them were able to achieve some super amazing things. So look guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like, give it a share. Until next time, peace.